Chronically Blue. Hello all of my sleeping bears, my name's Chronically Blue. Welcome to episode 44 of Sonic Frontiers. This episode we are going through the third island. We are getting all the... I just forgot what the Cocos. We're getting all the Cocos. We are fighting any remaining Guardians. We are doing all the remaining cutscenes on the third island, which is the Volcano Island. But this one isn't too horrible, thankfully. This one's kind of alright. We do also have some good music to listen to as well. For this one, if you see any of the lasers, just try to avoid them. You can always jump over them. You can't duck, unfortunately, but that won't really be much of an issue. Once you reach a spring, you're more or less going to be home free. Now here is the part that's going to be a little bit annoying. So the lasers appear periodically. What you can do is you can fail, like I do, for the next minute or so. Or you can either go up vertically, what am I even saying? You can go up vertically and stop in between every individual laser. That's one way to do it. It's a really slow way of doing it, but it still works. Or you can go up this side and crawl slowly, but continuously, all the way to the top to reach the springs in order to shoot you over to the new Coco. That is what I am doing right here because I gave up. I genuinely did. It's been a day. It's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a year. It's been a decade. It's been a lifetime. Time for a cutscene.
Can you tell if there's anything special about the ruins with this symbol?
I can't be sure without a proper analysis, but it doesn't seem remarkable. What is remarkable is the data retention after all these years. The corruption is negligible, and the maps are so accurate. Not to mention the way they can imprint the map data directly into the user's mind. It's hard enough explaining yourself to your peers, let alone some long-distance civilizations.
Yeah, too bad they can't give us all the answers to the island's mysteries. You're right, though. Pretty amazing to have a civilization based on brain power.
That is pretty cool.
Hey again, since we've grown so close, how about helping me out?
I have run the simulations. Sharing data will not change the outcome.
You're always talking about odds and simulations, but we living beings don't live by calculations. The will to live, the drive to achieve, the desire to protect the ones you love, that kind of thing can grant a power you can't imagine.
Love can be converted into power. Do you have any data to back this proposed conversion?
Nope. That's what makes it miraculous. But if you really need proof, I'll whip you up a miracle by the end of all this. You'll see.
Man, if only we had something to prove that. It's time for another Coco. Which, I hope that's how you pronounce it. I hope it's Coco. It's K-O-C-O. What other way is there to pronounce it? So, anyway. Just make sure to run along the walls here, go into the grind rails. Not a whole lot's going on here. Again, they put all the difficulty in like the first island and the last island. So you don't have to worry about anything too taxing on this one, thankfully. I did want to bring up a few things. First off, thank you. Thank you all so much for watching. This is not the final episode. And of course, there is still more coming. And again, this isn't the final episode, so I don't know why I'm acting like it is. It's not. There's more coming. Don't you worry. However, this will be the last Sonic episode this week. Monday is when the final Sonic episode will come out. So, Sonic will soon leave the Friday time slot. After Monday comes out. After Monday, then it will. But, just giving you the heads up beforehand. Here's going to be a little tricky. Make sure to actually aim upwards and jump out before the spikes get there so you can go up and over them. A little weird, but at least it makes you think. That's something. I do like how they do something with all the weird stuff that they kind of put in there and then forgot about later on. It is kind of nice in order to just see a little bit of something coming from these little one-use gimmicks. But again, I don't know what I was really expecting. It's alright. It's meh. It's also annoying. All in all, it adds, I'd say maybe an hour or two of playtime extra to the game that you hadn't had previously. Now, with anything that is hard for you to encircle immediately, you can always do a large encircle, and it would still work. That scared me very terribly. Wow, I just got secondhand shudder. Okay, cool. This part is not that rancid, thankfully. As long as you are able to time your jumps, you're going to be alright. And if you fall off, just make sure to boost in order to try to regain some composure. And remember, if you fall, it's no big deal. It won't take you long to get back here. It's not like you're in a 50-story elevator and you're falling all the way back to the first floor. So, just take your time, you'll be alright. You can get through this. We've already made it through a large number of the journey. You got this. Make sure to hit that spring, and that'll take us all the way over to the Kocool. Well, after we jump onto the stuff and do a little more running, because Sonic just can't get enough of that running. Sweet guns. Also, one thing I have to ask, how is Sonic's gloves never dirty? Like, I wear gloves when I play games, because I'm all sweaty. My hands get all sweaty, and I sweat at my controller, and I'm afraid of damaging the controller with my sweat, because electronics and water don't exactly mix. And my gloves they're not, like, mechanic dirty, but they're not what they used to be. So I'm just trying to figure out how Sonic can do all these loop-de-loos and jumps and, you know, all these attacks and such without his gloves getting dirty. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. I have been known for that. Now this part is going to give you a little bit of a tight feeling, just because of how very narrow the platforms are, but believe you me, it's going to be alright. It's nowhere near as impossible as it looks. And if you have difficulty holding straight up in your controller, give it a try a few times. There's a few levels where you can go to where you start off right in the middle of the air, and if you just hold up, you will continue to go forward. If there's a slight tilt, then it will let you know and you won't go forward, and you'll probably fall off the platform. It's going to take a little bit getting used to, but I have gotten very familiar with how to control this game. 44 episodes will do that. It's almost like if you play a game a lot, you will learn how to control it, and it won't be horrible. I do like the controls here. It's not the worst thing, and I have been begrudgingly getting used to the separate button for humming attack. See, I grew up on the Adventure generation, where the humming attack and the jump button were the same thing, because they kind of took you the same way, so I don't know. I guess I just never really got used to the second button for boosting, but yeah, I kind of had to here. And if you are on those little spring platforms where they shoot you and you don't know what to do, forward is square, up is X. That's just the two things you need to know. Forward is square, up is X.
I think I've figured it out. The Kocool are the spirits of the ancients, aren't they?
What if they are?
I've run into my fair share of spirits who stick around because of their regrets. Sometimes I've been able to help them move on. Just how long have they endured like this, though? Were we brought here to help them finally find peace?
Why ask me?
Because I feel like you might be in the same boat. And if so, I'll help if I can.
Sonic being optimistic to someone who doesn't want it.
I analyzed the cyberspace portal the last time you were accessing it. While you were online, it opened up a flood of data. It was way too much to process, but I did get a glimpse of the Ancients' personal data.
Oh, so... what, you know all their birthdays now?
Yep.
Much more than that. Sonic, it was their very essences. Their hopes, their dreams. Everything that made them what they were. Do you see the correlation?
Sounds a lot like what happened to you, Amy, and Knuckles. I mean, I'm glad you're all intact, but why were you all uploaded like that?
You guys get information on Sonic?
We were at a pretty high altitude. It's hard to say how high due to all the clouds.
Any higher and we'd risk Angel Island bumping into us. Pretty harsh conditions for anyone to be living and working under.
Ancients must have had a reason for coming up here. Given the infrastructure, I don't think this was a residential area. It seems more like military front lines.
First strike position, huh? I mean, those cannons aren't just for show. With everything we've seen, just what kind of enemy were they preparing for?
That
This is not an ideal working condition. If I just had my body, I could be so much more efficient.
Amy said she felt like she was in a dream. Does that sound about right?
That's pretty accurate. I can think clearly, and I'm aware. But there's no physicality to it. Everything feels just out of reach.
Do you think that's why the ancients made the Coco? To have something real to put their spirits into?
It's one hypothesis. We certainly can't rule it out.
So here we have a guardian known as Fortress. There's no way to get this started fast, so you just kind of have to avoid the bullets, and then you'll be fine. If you want to have fun being dependent on your definition, you can sleep for only 5 hours. That's what I did. And I'll tell you what, side effects, okay? So I typically sleep about 6 to 7 hours or so. My goal is 10. That never happens, unless it's the weekend, in which case it happens rarely when my cat doesn't wake me up. But I'd be looking at like a square image, and all of a sudden it would just like turn into, like, I can see like the shadows, and it makes like rain or tornado, or I'll be like, just what happened right now. I'm watching the video that all of you are right now, and I look down to see my little blue bar that is for videos, red for audio. And it looks like the blue bar had a gradient on it from down to top, making kind of like a yellow to blue rainbow. I don't know. These things happen. Get sleep. Don't make yourself not sleep. I'm sure if you ask anyone who has not gotten sleep, they will tell you weird stuff happened. Your brain starts to see stuff because it doesn't have enough sleep.
Care to bet who'll be the winner this time?
Recalculating. Your odds of victory have improved from impossible to highly improbable.
Those are just the kind of odds I like to beat. So these were built by the ancients too, right? Pretty powerful enemies. Did they manage to defeat the ancients' enemies?
I can only hope their next victim is you.
She's so sweet. Such a way with words.
What I wouldn't give to study this ancient technology properly. It doesn't look like this was a projectile weapon.
So no ancient cannonballs then, huh? Wait, are you saying this is a beam weapon? Like on the egg carrier?
Exactly. From what I can tell, it has its own battery, independent of an outside power source. Moreover, its capacity is ludicrous. It could level a mountain. It's almost up there with the Eclipse cannon. But that was plugged into the Ark's reactor. This is freestanding. The Ancients' designs are amazing.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but I mean, they built these things to shoot at something. Wow, what kind of enemy takes that much firepower to stop?
Well, I'm sure we found out.
Sonic, do you think I can change?
What do you mean, like a tire or the tornado's engine oil?
No. I mean, when I was lost in cyberspace, I was confronted by another version of myself. He said I was just a follower, that I couldn't think or act on my own. I wanted to argue, but I couldn't bring myself to say anything back. I worry he's right and that I haven't changed at all.
Whatever. Some spooky cyber copy hasn't seen you in action. I've seen it firsthand. You've definitely grown, and I know you'll keep on working hard.
It is really nice to hear encouraging words from Sonic to Tails. Okay, and with that we have seen all the cutscenes here. All we have left is the Cocos and the Guardians. And you may be noticing me getting the trophies. That happens. If you go through and you do everything, you will indeed get the trophies for it. For the side characters, that's about all you're gonna get. You're going to get trophies and the cutscenes. That's about it. Now, there is a faster way to do this I'm not doing right here, but I did find out later on. If you lock onto the leg, which you do by pressing R3, then you jump, try to attack, and then press triangle, you would do the quick cycle loop, which will just be really fast. It'll do what I'm doing right now, but a lot faster, and it'll be part of a combo, and it will allow you to just keep going, and it'll be a lot faster. That is definitely going to be beneficial if you decide to go after a certain mode that is annoying And here, I found this out. You want to get as many of the blue rings as possible. If you do not get enough, then by the time you get all the way to the bottom, the scorpion is going to throw you back in the air again until you get enough. So make sure to get as many blue rings as possible, or else you're just kind of gonna get thrown to the air again. That'll waste a lot of time. If you're going through a certain mode, I should add, again, for no reason, certain mode? What are you talking about, Chronicle Blue? Well, when this game got released with DLC Update Wave 2, they added 2 special modes. One of them was the Cyber Rush challenges and the Boss Rush. The Boss Rush is where you attack a bunch of enemies, typically 10 rounds, some of them being the normal enemies that you find on the ground, some of them being the Guardians, the bigger ones here. And then there's always the final one where it's the big Titan that you fight at the end of the island before you go to the next place. You have to do that as fast as possible, and you have a time limit for that. If you get the S rank on all of them, congrats, you get to go to the next one. If you get an A or anything lower, you might as well just try again. Why they don't just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It just seems like if you have to get a certain ranking in order to be able to go forward, why would they make it so you could get a lower ranking? Why wouldn't it just be like, hey, you didn't do this, try again. We'll reset the time for you. I don't know. Same thing with the cyber challenges. You go through stages 1 through 7 of an island, back to back to back to back to back, and you have to get the S rank on all of them in order to unlock the next one. It doesn't sound hard when you put it like that, but when you realize that if you are doing good in stages 1 through 4 and then you mess up significantly on stage 5 and get an A, you're gonna have to redo them all. It's not fun, but how would I know? I didn't do that. I would never put myself through that. That's ridiculous. I would never do that, especially for a possible finale of a video. That's ridiculous. Yes, I do not know when the 3rd wave of DLC is, and this is allegedly supposed to be the final wave of DLC, but some speculate it'll come out in September. It's August, as I'm recording this. Like, very early August. So, that's going to be at least another month. So if it does come out, I will show it off, and if it doesn't, I will happily ignore it. There is no in between. I will show it off and do it because apparently it's supposed to be a new story and new playable characters, which, cool. But I've played a lot of this game. It's been a lot, like a lot. Not a bit like a chocolate, but a lot like a chocolate. It's been unique. Alright, we have one final Guardian left, and that is actually Excavator. Does he look familiar? Great, he should, because a lot of these Titans here, Guardians, are just going to be reskins. By that I mean they are the exact same as the other people that you've seen. They're just a different color. And sometimes have maybe one move different. That's about it. So, the Silver Hammer, the Excavator, the Red Hammer, they're all the exact same. They all get taken down the exact same way. There's no special moves, no nothing. Just take them down, and you will be alright. Now, with that being said, you will see on the title screen, on the menu screen, we've gotten a lot of stuff. We're missing some stuff, don't you worry. Next time on Monday, we are going to be getting all of it. All of it, all of it, all of it, yes, all of it, all of it. Make it look like an accident. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you on Monday on the finale. Goodbye, my sleepy bears.